Hi, my name is Kris Fantetti, and I've been a member of Atonement for about 3 years now. And I'd like to share a little bit of my faith story with you today about how I believe God found me when I was really lost. And I'll start at the beginning when I was a little child. I grew up in a good Christian family. We attended a Lutheran church. We went to church every Sunday, said our prayers at dinner and bedtime, and I went to vacation Bible school. I was confirmed. I sang in the church choir when I was in high school, and I had a really good experience. I can't say that I have any reason that I didn't follow my faith as I got older, but what really happened is right out of high school, I made a few bad decisions that started me on a path away from my faith. First of all, I met somebody that I ended up marrying way too young before I really, I think, knew myself or knew him well enough. And it wasn't too long that I found myself in a marriage where I was pretty unhappy. My husband was a very verbally abusive person, and as my marriage went on, things didn't improve at all. And I found myself when I was in my very early 30s with my two children, who were 2 and 4 years old at the time, in a very unhappy place. At that time, I went back to work, and I got a job in a bakery deli department at a grocery store. And it was there that I met a woman named Elaine. And Elaine was a really bold, good Christian woman, and she spoke very easily about her faith and how she believed in God. And I was really drawn to her kindness, her gentleness, and just her friendship in general. It was something I really needed at that time. And I told her how unhappy I was, and that I thought, maybe I needed God in my life, that I'd really rejected my faith for too long, and I wanted to know him again. And she offered to do a Bible study with me, which was really amazing when I think back of it. And we met at her house, just the two of us. And first we studied, we had a booklet and about a Bible study on the book of Romans. And then after we were done with that, we did a study on prayer and how to pray. And when we were done with those two studies, she introduced me to a group of women that she was in a Bible study with from her church, which really wasn't a church with a home. They had no building. They were a group of people in the town of Whitewater, where I live, that were starting a church. They called it planting a church. And they were all just like Elaine. They were really just the most wonderful women, and they all had such strong faith, and I really admired that, and I wanted that in my life. And I learned a lot from them. And I ended up joining a Lutheran church then in Whitewater. It was a ELCA Lutheran church, like Atonement, and because that's what I grew up in. And I started attending that church. And looking back now, I can see how God's timing with introducing me to Elaine and the women I studied with in my church was so crucial, because within about maybe 7-8 months of all that happening, first of all, I found out that my father was going to have heart surgery. He had a heart attack when he was 50, and he was now 60, and his heart was having problems, and he needed bypass surgery. And he was 6 weeks from surgery when my husband decided to leave me and the kids. And I didn't want to tell my parents that my marriage was breaking up, because I didn't want to get my dad and mom upset at this time. And so what happened next was just really devastating. My father died during his surgery. They had complications. And so then I was faced with telling my mom about my marriage and failing. And it was obviously just the worst time in my life at that point. And I really don't know how I would have gotten through it without my newfound faith in God, and my mom, who was a wonderful Christian, her and I just, supported each other during that time. And 6 months after that, my grandma, my mom's mom, died of cancer that we just found out like 2 weeks after my dad died. And so, things went from bad to worse in a really quick amount of time. And after that, I just, throughout my life, in my early years of finding God again, I spent a lot of time in the Bible, reading scripture and soaking up as much as I could to relearn what faith in God was all about. And looking back, I just want to say I don't know what I would have done without that meeting with Elaine and her offering up hope to me like that, and the study and it just was, a gift from God, I believe. And I just would like to, thank Elaine for letting her light shine in my life. Thank you.